broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Mississippi putting it down.
Hey.
I'm the hottest round. I told y'all mother.
Hey.
Y'all can't stop me now.
Oh,
Listen
get it.
to me now. I'm
Oh, we got the lights and everything.
And if you want me,
Hey. Oh, my boy, get it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in the right place. This is America's Best Dance Crew. We are so excited. This is episode 2.
This is America's Best Dance Crew.
This right here. This is the crew right here. Let me tell you, like, don't try to battle us because we will kill you. I'm your host, Lem Gonsalves. As always, so glad to have the full panel here tonight. You can find me on social media at The Poet Saint all day, every day. All in the social media world. Also want to make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/AfterBuzz TV. And since we are live, you can use the hashtag ABTV ABDC. It's a lot of letters, but you can get it. ABTV ABDC. To my left is the beautiful and talented Miss Desiree Murphy.
Hey guys, what's going on? Excited to be here.
Yeah, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at dmurph625.
What?
Yeah.
Jeff Thurm,
What's
the
up,
battle
Lem?
extraordinaire.
Hello.
Back again. She's just dancing more.
I decided to bring my dance moves to America's Buzz TV.
America's Buzz TV. We're just going to fuse them together.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jeff_Thurm. Also, if you watch Catfish, make sure you are tuning into Lem and my podcast before this.
Absolutely. MTV Family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MTV Wednesdays double feature.
It is. All day, every day. So,
these dance moves will be coming back.
They are starting from the
And
comment.
every week.
Good.
Exactly.
They will only get worse and worse. So
Worse and
make
worse.
sure you tune in.
We are not on the actual show for a reason. That's why we're hosts, because, you know, that's what we
So I
do
already
good.
won the show.
Yeah.
So that's not fair.
Right. So I'm really excited because, as I was mentioning in the last after show, they were on a 3-year hiatus and they decided to bring the show back, but they brought it back like with full force with 5 crews that have won before, which are amazing, and then 1 crew who I'm just going to go right now, and before I even get into my notes, is actually my favorite crew on the show, Kynges. I actually got a chance to interview them backstage on the opening episode, and they're just really cool guys, and they're from, a couple of them are from previous crews, one of which was from a previous crew, the ones that had the mask.
Jabberwockies, they were my jam.
Yeah,
my favorite.
yeah. I was hoping they'd come back, but you know they're all big and stuff, and got like Vegas and you know all that kind of stuff. So I get it. But yeah, one was part of Jabberwockies and one was part of another crew that also was on the season, and they're killing it. They're killing it right now, and I like their style, and I like what they're doing with the whole Kynges ninja type situation. But let's get into the actual show. The opening number, and it's right here on here. I was trying to figure out what it was, and it's like staring me in my face. But it was Drake started from the bottom. Now we're here, and so and I love the opening numbers on this show.
Yeah.
I know the first one from the first episode was from Nabbit Tabs, Napoleon, and we know them from America's So You Think You Can Dance. But they're, you know, I saw them actually in the grocery store one time with their little sign. Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. I was like, I was kind of like, but I didn't want to freak anybody out. So by the, lettuce, so I just let them alone. But anyway, so I don't know who ended up doing this particular number. I don't know if they're on staff, but either way, it was dope. And I always love how they kind of do their own thing in the open numbers, but also kind of break out, and then they're their crew, and they do their specialty moves and what have you.
From a literal sense, I loved the fact that they used that song From the Bottom, Now We're Here, because they started from the bottom, and then they all won, and now they're all here.
Exactly.
So I think the song choice on that was fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. actually. And just to introduce kind of this season, because this is different from the other seasons, have a brand new host, Jason Dundas, who I believe is also a pretty well-known dancer. He's kind of a YouTube sensation. And then the judges, T-Pain. Everybody knows T-Pain is. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that's what he looked like, though.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't know that's what he looked like?
I had a different image in my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, where have you been?
I don't know. Next.
He did cut his hair. He did have like long dreads.
Look a little
that's
bit
it.
different
That's it.
in your
Right.
defense.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so different. Sure. Tiana Taylor, who's a singer, also a choreographer, so she has a dance background, and then Frankie Grande, who has a lot of in Broadway information with that. So I think good judges. I think good background as far as in judging a dance crew competition, as good as you can get in that regard.
I disagree with that, but as good as you can get.
I'm saying, like, okay.
As good as,
let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Thank you for checking me, sir. As good as you can get for an MTV show that you have to be a certain level of personality.
Okay.
I think they all bring something different to the table.
They bring something different.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, obviously, they're not dancers like what we see on, you know what I'm saying? And I know that previous seasons they brought like Dietrich's, that's on one of the crews. He's on Quest Crew. He was one of the judges at one point in time. So they use them, but I think, I put it this way. I think you can agree with me on this because you're not agreeing with me. You're not feeling me right now. I feel it. I feel the tension.
I still have Get Your Freak On second in your head, so I'm having a hard time paying attention to anything else.
But I believe that they are better judges than the previous judges.
I agree with you on that.
Boom.
I do.
Thank you,
But
Desiree.
Little Mama, her lip gloss be popping. Her lip gloss be cool.
I do
All
miss
the boys be
Little Mama.
stopping.
Yeah,
She would chase me after
do
school.
not at all. I thought she was. I would literally, when I would watch it, I would fast forward during her parts. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I didn't care anything because I felt like she wasn't adding anything to what the crew was. I thought that they were better, you know what I'm saying? Like the other judges were at least better in what the information they were given. So anyway, just my, humble opinion. So anyway, we start off with the first opening is I Am Me, and they're dancing. And basically this particular episode, if we can call it that, is they're doing, numbers that are big.
The
big,
VMA
big,
Icon Challenge.
Exactly. Thank you. And so this one is I Am Me goes first, and it's Katy Perry's birthday song. And so
looks like the most fun birthday party ever.
Ever, right? Ever.
Get me on that trampoline.
Yes,
Get me those
me
balloons.
too.
That trampoline
That
bed
was
thing
so
was pretty dope. It was pretty dope.
Yes.
I loved the things that they incorporated. I loved. They took up the entire stage. The backflips on the trampoline were insane. And we'll talk about this as we get into other dances.
Sure.
But I think there's so many different types of things that are happening on the show that aren't necessarily merging as one show. Like, I Am Me had this incredible presentation and this incredible show and like something you would almost see in Vegas or something, or at a Katy Perry concert. And then other crews had zero stage setting, zero theme, and just did like hip hop moves the whole time. And I was like, to go from the sick trampoline and the balloons to, I'm sorry, I wasn't a fan of Kynges' basic kind of boring masked thing.
Oh, we have to get into it in a second.
It was so, there's humongous presentation, and then there's just like b-boying, and I like, not to say it was one is better than the other, but one's better than the other.
Yeah, I will have to say this was one of my favorites of the night. Like Frankie said, he thought Katy would be proud.
Right.
I agree with
I
that.
agree with that too.
I went to Katy Perry's Prism tour, and this is exactly what you would have seen. Like, she has the emoji balloons. They incorporated the balloons, the flips with the trampoline.
Okay.
So awesome. So, and also, like, this is the road to the VMAs. This is something I could totally see on the VMA
100%.
stage.
I agree.
100%.
Do we know if the winner's performing at the VMAs?
They haven't said that on the actual show.
Well, supposedly, this is what I got when I did the interview, and they actually did kind of talk about it a little bit. I don't know how much detail they did on the first episode, but I know when I interviewed them, and I was talking to Electrolytes actually, and they were kind of explaining what it was. I believe that the final two crews, because the VMAs is at the end of the month.
Yes.
And so you figure there's supposed to be 6 episodes. This is episode 2. So if you count down, that would mean that the last episode would be at the VMAs VMAs or right before. So I believe it's like it gets to the last two crews and then they perform, and then it's like some kind of a like live judging or something to that. I didn't get all of the schematics, but it's something to that effect.
Okay.
It'll get down to the last group, but it's the road to the VMAs, so of course the VMAs are going to be incorporated, in it.
Right.
But I agree with you, Jeff, in the sense of with IME, and I was trying to look and see what the actual name that they like to call it. I think it's like brain bender or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
was the term
Brain banging.
Brain banging. That's what it is.
Right.
Brain banging. So and they do that, and it was just even and it's little stuff like in the routine, because I didn't notice that until afterwards, right? When they did the arm thing, and when you see their jackets were made that way, where it was like one color, one sleeve was one color. So when they were doing it, it looked like they had 6 arms or whatever because of how they did the colors and how they did everything.
Cool.
I think of all the crews, I think they're the most imaginative.
Yes, agreed.
I think they think out the box the most, which I think is going to take them far.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I do agree with that. I still, and I'll tell you why Kynges is my favorite in a second when we get to them, but they're just my favorite. But yes, IME is dope. I do like Phil. Phil was also on So You Think He Can Dance. The wavy arms thing's crazy what he's doing with that. But I mean, they did good, and the judges love them. I will say, though, just not trying to hate all the way, but Scarlett was the one that did that double backflip, and they were talking about that. She didn't quite land it perfect.
I noticed that, too.
Yeah, quite landed. But it was, I can't do it.
Still amazing.
It was still dope.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So, and T-Pain gave him a standing ovation. Tiana Taylor said it was fun. Like you said, it was like it was Katy Perry. If it was Katy Perry, you're going to a concert, that's what you're going to see. That's what they did. Next group was Kynges. They danced to Usher's OMG, my favorite. And let me tell you why they're my favorite, because I think they incorporate, with them, I think they can do any style. And one of the things is, because I also got a chance to interview them, and I asked them about that. I said, what are you guys bringing to the table? And they said, well, we can bring anything. Whatever's going to be asked of us, pretty much we can do. So I think they're very adaptable, whereas some crews are like kind of limited in a certain style. Obviously, they probably haven't shown all of what they can do yet because it's literally on the second episode. But I think once it comes down to it, I think we're going to see a lot more. Plus, I think and I think this just goes back to like my little childhood. When I was a kid, I watched karate movies, and I loved being a ninja and had video games and stuff like that. So the way they incorporate, that, with the sign and how they're doing it and the moves and you know what I'm saying, like all of that, I just kind of a little nostalgic. So maybe that's what helps with the reason why I like them. They're fresh. Plus they're holding it down, and they're the only ones that aren't returning champions.
Absolutely.
Jeff?
Their execution tonight, I just felt was so flawless.
Yeah.
Like all their choreography is so tight, and even though some of the movements are small, they're so in sync. And while I was watching it, even though Usher wasn't on stage, I could feel him in the center of the stage.
Feel him.
Yes.
Did you hear that, Jeff?
I did.
Feel him.
Seriously.
I really liked when they walked out of their shoes at the end. I thought that was cool. Okay, I didn't hate it. There are other dances from the evening that I hated way more.
Right.
I just thought it could have been better.
Yeah.
I thought they killed it. I thought they did a really, really good job. I'm more of a showy person. I think the b-boying hip-hop thing just alone isn't enough to be crowned like the ultimate America's Best Dance Group.
Okay. I can go with that. I will say, I just want to point out that he did an A-Town stomp. I don't remember who it was. I was trying to figure out who it was. On his hand, and also did a thunderclap while he was doing the A-Town stomp.
Yes, that was pretty amazing.
Come on now. That's pretty dope.
Yes.
That's pretty dope. And that's incorporating the theme, like I said.
Yeah.
They took the B-boy, but then incorporated and made sure they did that, in a special way.
And exactly, even in the beginning when they just did the A-Town down.
Right.
So powerful.
It was cool.
Powerful.
Got chills.
Jeff, it was powerful.
It was cool.
I loved it.
We'll see if you come to their side, as the season progresses.
I hated others more, so I will we'll get to that.
All right, so next up was Super Crew, and they did Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson's Uptown Funk, which is a great song, by the way.
Great song.
Great song.
Yes.
Great song. I was wondering how they were gonna do this because I was like, Uptown Funk, they're a b-boy crew, interesting.
This is, to me, how you do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
this is my
compared
favorite.
to Kynges is like, okay, they're doing very similar dance moves, but their theme was so sick. That move when he slid
That was dope.
under,
I did put that. That was tight.
I rewound it multiple times because
Yeah.
I thought he was like on a pulley system because
Right.
the camera was diagonalized and on the stage there was like there's the silver stripe down the stage.
Right.
So I thought he was like legitimately on a pulley because I didn't know how a human being can fly like that.
Right on his
Yes.
elbow,
Yeah.
essentially.
So they're like crawling all under each other. The barbershop thing going on. He's dancing off the stage. He's flipping
Right.
off the stage. And like they were so in sync, and then they like swept it up at the end. Like I just thought it was flawless. I thought it was so well done.
Yeah.
I thought it was imaginative. It was creative. I love what Frankie said, saying that they have the cleanliness of the Kynges, but the theatricality of I Am Me. And I think that is why they were my favorite performance of the evening.
Of this particular one.
I thought they freaking killed it.
Donox is the one that did the move, off the judge's desk, which was crazy. And he was the one like, I'm going to do this dangerous move. And he was like doing a little James Brown shuffle before he did that. That was pretty fresh. The slide was amazing. That was
Hands down the best
that was
move
dope.
all night.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and I remember again their season. They are, and I wrote this down. They're fearless. Like they just throw their bodies, and they don't care. Like I remember this was on the season that they won. They had this move where they were like stacked on top of each other. It was like 3 high.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes.
And they literally fell down and then went to this thing and then started dancing. And I'm like, whoa! Like how do you do 3 people high and they just
so
fall?
cool.
Like they do not care. Like they're just gonna do their thing, and no one can do what they can do. I will say that no one is going to be able to do what they can do because no one's going to be as fearless and I think as agile and as talented as they are. They just have that, on their side.
And I think the surprise factor, just like you said, of how the hell are they going to do these b-boy moves to Uptown Funk? It's
Right.
like taking their style and putting it into a different song genre
Right.
is so much cooler than like doing Usher moves to Usher. It's like that's so expected.
Right. No, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So they were dope. I will give that to them. Crest Crew was up next. They did Chris Brown, Turn Up the Music. They had one of their members, Rudy, who actually hurt himself during practice, so he wasn't able to dance. And I like Crest Crew. This one I did not like so much. They had this lantern thing. I was trying to figure out how the lantern kind of. It was like weird. Like, are you going camping or like what's the deal? I didn't understand.
I had no idea what it had
Desiree,
to do with
did you?
anything.
No,
what did
I
you
felt
get?
the same way. I didn't really get it myself, and I know that they were talking about how they had to change up the entire routine. So in their defense, I feel like they did a good job in that.
True.
But not my favorite of the night.
I also have very, 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 very strong feelings against Chris Brown. And
We've talked about this.
We have talked about this
we have.
offline.
Yes.
I don't think he should be allowed to perform at big award shows. I don't think his song should be allowed to play on the radio. And
You don't think his song should be used either.
I don't think his song should be used either. So Quest Crew automatically lost points in my book for choosing him
Chris Brown.
as like someone to reward because I am such an anti-Chris Brown person. And I'm glad that their dance kind of sucked with the lanterns because I think they deserved it.
It was pointed out that the freeze that was done by Jolib, he didn't stick that, so that was pointed out, which I thought was going to like send them home. I actually thought because I thought the dance was fairly lackluster. He didn't hit his freeze. It's an elimination night, so but I mean they kind of pulled through. Next was We Are Heroes, who was actually the crew that was in the bottom the previous week. Missy Elliott, get your freak on.
Yes.
I'm just as a side note, like I want Missy Elliott to put out another album. Like
too.
She's got it. When she came out and she did with Katy Perry in the Super Bowl and just killed it. Everybody was like had to remind her,
Yes.
like, oh, Missy Elliott is dope. Like she's dope. Like she's still got it. And who knows? I mean, she's probably gonna come out soon. So I'm ready to hear some new Missy Elliott tracks. So shout out to Missy Elliott. But yeah, I thought they definitely, because they were last, they had to step it up.
Yes.
They had to do well. They did this jungle theme, which looked dope. They rewound the music, because in the song they have that whatever. It's terrible, but and they did the moves to do that, which was dope. That was sick. And they had like a lot of like theatrics with the whole tourist and situation, which
I'm so opinionated on this episode.
No, well, I mean, speak on it. Like they had it. I didn't say I liked it. I was just pointing out that they had it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on it?
Trying to think back to the music video.
Okay. The Get Your Freak On music
Yes.
video. Okay.
Does that happen in the music video?
No.
Yeah.
If there's no Asian tourist in the music video, then there's no need for there to be an Asian tourist in the middle of a jungle during Get Your Freak On. I thought it made no sense. I liked the part where like she was divided in half and like her pants were over here and she was over here. Like that was cool, but
like she's being ripped apart or whatever.
Yeah, I thought I was kind of laughing during this dance. I didn't think that they were very good. I didn't think their theme fit the song, and I don't remember any dance moves that they did.
Do you think that this performance was better? Ask Desiree. Do you think this was better than last week's?
I do. I liked last week's, but to me, I felt like this had more elements of them, like with different levels. Like I liked the diamond thing that they did last week at the very end.
Sure.
But other than that, I like none of their moves from last week were memorable to me.
Correct.
Whereas this one, I would remember more things. However, what you were saying with the theme, I felt like it was more of a Nicki Minaj Anaconda performance.
Yeah, I don't think they were.
I didn't get the theme.
I don't think they were trying to mimic the music video. Hence, why they did what they did. I do think it was more along those lines. I think it was just more or less they needed to do something special.
They did.
And it was Frankie that said that their choreography. He actually pointed out. He said their choreography was up to par. So, and I do think they did better. I don't think they did the best, but I do think they did better than they did the previous week. So. I mean, I'll just take that for what it is. So, but I don't know. I think of all the crews, they're not the strongest.
Right.
Agreed.
They're not the strongest. Electrolytes went last, and they went to Jason Derulo's "Want You to Want Me." I mean. To me,
I wish it was just a double elimination night. Just get rid of both of them and make each other crew do twice the amount of dancing.
Right.
Like, give me a good freaking show.
Yeah, Electrolytes. I didn't like them from their season. When they won, I didn't think they should have won. I'm not a fan of theirs whatsoever. I don't think they bring anything special to the table. They get, Joey got sick right before the show, which was like minutes before they had to change their routine. They had this Grease theme, which was like. It was just kind of corny to me.
Yeah, this is a great performance, but not for America's Best Dance Crew.
I could see it on a Broadway show. I'm going to Vegas, and I'm, I gotta want to see a show. Let's go see them dance to Grease outfits.
Like none of them are cute enough to be like winking at the camera, combing their hair, like
winking at the camera.
None of it's.
That's true.
It's not your look. It's not your style. It was cheesy.
Yeah.
It was, again, I don't remember many dance moves of it. Just to go from like the backflips on the trampoline and the barbershop to like a high school musical.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
Like literally on the bleachers swaying to Grease. Like next.
Yeah.
Get off the stage. I was shocked that they didn't go home. I thought. I'm kind of glad that like the gender card wasn't pulled. I kind of thought the judges were gonna save We Are Heroes just because to be like,
girl power.
We'll keep the girl crew because we have 3 other average guy crews, so we can get rid of one.
Right.
I was kind of shocked to see Electrolytes stay.
I was very shocked, especially to their comments. Frankie said they needed to bring more tricks. T-Pain said the energy was not there, which are all true. I think they're going against, and I think their season, I mean, I keep hating on them, but their season, if I remember correctly, they didn't have a lot of, their competition wasn't as stiff as when we saw like first season with Jabberwockies and some of these other seasons when Quest Crew won and, We Are Heroes won. Like there were some good crews that they were going up against. Absolutely. I think at that point they didn't really have, and they won, respectably, but at the end of the day, they're just not that good. And I was hoping that they were going to go home. I would have rather, because I do think We Are Heroes stepped up. Not to say they were the best, but they at least stepped up and did better what they did last episode. They did not step up. They backpedaled. They were already just okay. Then they were worse, and then they still stayed. So
isn't it kind of funny that someone on the electrolytes team was like feeling sick and dehydrated? Like he needs more electrolytes to drink.
Fueled by dance.
No longer.
Oh, Jeff. So as we already said, We Are Heroes were the ones that were eliminated. I thought they had a good speech. They said, hey, we're still winners. We are the only all-female crew that won.
Which is dope.
We'll still have that title. And there it is. But we have the 5 crews left. Kynges is still in the house. So let's get into predictions.
Yeah.
Let's do that. See what's going to go on.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, that's short.
Wow, that was a short.
No lights.
Yeah, I was like drinking my water. Okay, so
I would like to propose
Yes, sir.
a different kind of prediction.
Okay.
As opposed to just who's going to win and who's going to go home next week.
Sure.
Okay.
Next week's challenge is the VMA Fashion Challenge.
Right.
Can each of you come up with an epic VMA fashion moment that you would like to see challenged next week via their dances?
Interesting.
I could see some Miley Cyrus since she's hosting.
Okay.
That would, maybe.
Britney Spears, I'm a
Hey,
slave for
one
you.
prediction. I'm hoping a snake.
Yeah.
Is
You're hoping a
used.
snake.
I'm hoping a Britney Spears snake comes out to play next week.
I'm trying to
Both
think
in
of the
September.
fashion from now. When Lady Gaga had that thing covering her face, she had like the whole. Was that the VMAs? It was like a red lace thing, and it was like covering her whole face and
Maybe.
body. Or okay, I could
A Lady
Romance.
Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
A Lady Gaga.
Lady
inspired-
Gaga, anything. Because, I mean, she's came out, she's been to plenty of VMAs and had some interesting looks.
Okay. So for next week, we're predicting a Lady Gaga song,
Absolutely.
a Miley Cyrus song,
Absolutely.
and a Britney Spears song.
Sure.
It's pretty basic predictions, but I think
What did you want, Jeff?
no. I think they're very safe predictions.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
So I would like you guys listening at home to also let us know what fashion moments you think they should be challenging next week using the hashtag ABTV ABDC, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll be interesting, too, because, again, because this has to do with clothing, which ones are going to step up? Because I think IME is going to kill it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think they are going to, just based on what they did with Katy Perry, I think they are going to kill this challenge, and they're no way are going home. Like, not even in the bottom. I
agree.
I agree with you
believe
on
that they'll
that,
kill
yeah.
it. I believe that they'll kill it. And they're very reminiscent, which they should have won also in their season, just going back. Fanny Pack.
Yeah.
Fanny Pack was so good,
Forgot
and I
about
hate
them.
that. Yeah, I hate that they didn't win their season, because I would have loved to see them, in this 6-episode series, because they were really good and very imaginative, and the whole nine. So anyway, that was our show, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you for tuning in. As always, we're going to be here every week. This is a short season, only 6 episodes. This was just episode 2, so you got to stay with us tight, because we're going to be here every night, going over these dance moves and like creating some of our own. You know what I'm saying? How we do it. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. Again, you can find me on social media at The Poet Saint. Desiree Murphy, where can they find you?
At DMurph625 on Instagram and Twitter.
Jeff the Hater Thurm.
Hit me up at Jeff_Thurm on Twitter and on Instagram. Hashtag ABTV ABDC. Keep it real.
Keep it real. Keep it really real. What was it?
Really real and real. Realizing real. Realizing real.
That's it. Real, realizing real. That's like the hashtag of the day. MTV. Shout out. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.